Sony announced the PS Classic earlier this year, initially revealing 4 games: Final Fantasy VII, Tekken 3, Jumping Flash, Wild Arms, and Ridge Racer Type 4, and the denizens of YouTube went mad with speculation. But when the full lineup was revealed, we were pretty underwhelmed with what could have been, as there were some really bizarre choices of what games were included, but there were a few obvious standout classics, like Resident Evil and Metal Gear Solid.
Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
I have no idea.
The PS1 Classic is obviously Sony's answer to Nintendo's classic mini-consoles, such as the NES and SNES, by now recreating Sony's first PlayStation console. Just, half the size and essentially containing a Raspberry Pi instead. The big difference between it and the Nintendo equivalent is mainly this has had far less effort put into its overall quality, such as using the PSX-R open source emulator with no options enabled, unless you plug in a certain keyboard and hit escape, and then you can access all the things you want. And there are problems that certainly exist because of this fact, but it'll be hard to spot unless you've seen the Digital Foundry video on this exact topic. And then you've got its lack of the later introduced DualShock controller that also hurts the overall experience, as many 3D games definitely feel worse without it. The D-pad, however, is still good, as it's fine for fighters like Tekken and Battle Arena Toshiden, and 2D platformers like Rayman, but including the DualShock would have solved these issues entirely, and even opened up the way for games that relied on it, like Ape Escape, or games that it certainly improved, like Medieval. It's easy to wonder why on a PlayStation Classic they include games like Jumping Flash and Intelligent Cube over games like Castlevania Symphony of the Night or even Silent Hill, games I'd love to play on here. Then there's also the choice of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Without a DualShock, for instance, is pretty shocking. Without dual analog sticks that we've gotten so used to, for shooters on console, it's basically what I would call unplayable. R1 and R2 to look up and down, it's absolute crap. We're way past that. The fact is that when you think of the best PS1 games, it's not Rainbow Six you're thinking of. This question continues too. Why was Ridge Racer Type 4 chosen over Gran Turismo? Why'd they put the original Twisted Metal when the sequel's clearly better? Where's Spyro? Where's Crash? Games that may have been remastered, but these are the games you think of when you hear the words PlayStation 1. But despite all these negatives, there are some good times to be had with this console. For $149 Australian dollars or $99 in the US, the value isn't too bad considering it includes a HDMI cable, a mini USB for power, 2 controllers, and the console itself, which is 20 games pre-installed. It outputs at 720p, which honestly, that's fine for the age of the games you'll be playing. And honestly, isn't it worth it for Metal Gear Solid alone? Unless you own a PS3, a Vita, PS TV, things with backwards compatibility. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and joining us as I talk some nice things, mostly negative things, about the PlayStation Classic. It still looks cool. Like, it's something you'd like to collect. Like, I have the other NES and SNES just sitting there because, they look cool. So it's really just a cool collector's item that, if you want, you can plug it in and play some games. Hopefully, we'll see you again. Goodbye.
Snake! What happened? Snake! Snake!